Hello and welcome, guys. If you are a complete beginner or considering a career change into cybersecurity, this guide is for you. Today, we're going to have a candid conversation, mentor to mentee chat about how you can break into cybersecurity on a self-taught path. By the end of this roughly 45-minute session, you'll understand why cybersecurity is a fantastic career move in 2025, what entry-level roles, especially SOC analyst positions, you can aim for, and step-by-step roadmap how to build your skills, your confidence, and community. So let's dive in. Why, guys, you think cybersecurity is a great career in 2025? Well, first of all, cybersecurity is booming in 2025, and not just tech hubs or certain countries, but globally. Virtually every organization needs cybersecurity defenders, and there aren't enough of them. In fact, industry research predicts that 3.5 million unfilled cybersecurity jobs in 2025. The talent gap means opportunities for newcomers. Companies are eager for passionate people to join the fight against cyber threats. It's not just quantity of jobs, but quality. Cybersecurity roles often pay well and offer strong growth. For example, in the United States, information security analysts are seeing 33% job growth this decade, much faster than average, and command a median salary of around $125,000 per year. While salaries vary by region, the point is these skills are valued. Beyond just job stats, why else you love a cybersecurity career? First of all, it's impactful. You'll help protect hospitals, schools, businesses, even governments from attacks. Every day brings new puzzles to solve and threats to counter. So it stays interesting. The field is constantly evolving, which means continuous learning. Great if you are the curious type. There are also many paths within cybersecurity, from technical engineering to analytic investigation to policy and compliance. So you can find the niche that fits your strengths. And increasingly, cybersecurity work can be flexible or remote, since defending networks doesn't always require you in a specific location. Importantly, you don't need a fancy degree to get started. More and more people are entering cybersecurity without a traditional college background. As one career guide put it, the lack of a degree is no longer an impediment to landing a cybersecurity job. Companies are beginning to recognize skills and passion over paper credentials. Of course, learning on your own requires discipline, but it's entirely achievable. In this field, what you can do often matters more than a specific diploma. So if you're self-taught, you're in good company. Many cybersecurity pros have learned through non-traditional routes. Now, beginner-friendly roles in cybersecurity. So cybersecurity is a broad umbrella. So let's zero in which roles are friendly to newcomers. The truth is, most cybersecurity roles expect some foundational knowledge, but there are entry-level positions made for a foot-in-the-door talent. The primary one, and our focus today, is the Security Operations Center Analyst, sometimes just called Security Analyst or Cybersecurity Analyst. A junior SOC analyst is widely considered one of the main entry-level jobs in cyber. Why? Well, every SOC team that monitors and responds to security incidents needs Tier 1 analysts to watch for alerts and investigate potential issues. It's truly the front line of cyber defense, and it's where many people get their start. What does SOC analyst actually do, you might ask? Well, think of it as being a digital security guard and detective combined at a large company. You sit in a SOC or connect remotely and monitor the organization's networks and systems for any signs of trouble. You'll use specialized tools More on them soon. To detect anomalies. Maybe an alert that a suspicious login occurred or that known malicious file was caught by false alarms, and then respond or escalate them according to severity. Essentially, you're the cybersecurity first responder, investigating issues and either resolving the simple ones or handing off the serious ones to more senior responders. In practical terms, every entry-level SOC analyst, often called a tier 1 analyst, will do things like monitor alerts and logs from various sources like firewalls, intrusion detection systems, servers, etc., using a SIEM, which is a security incident and event management tool. So, for example, you might stare at the dashboard of alerts and pick one to investigate. Analyze suspicious events. For example, if you get an alert that a user's account has logged in from 2 countries 5 minutes apart, you dig into logs to see if it's a hack or just a glitch. Contain and mitigate threats with guidance. You might kick off a password reset for a compromised account, isolate an infected machine from the network, or assist in blocking IP address at the firewall. Document and report. A big part of the job is writing up what you've found. You'll document incidents in ticketing systems and maybe draft brief reports about what happened and how you responded. Collaborate. You won't work in isolation. You'll liaise with senior analysts or incident responders if something needs escalation. You might work with IT teams. Hey IT, please quarantine this PC, or even explain basic findings to management. Communication and teamwork are key, even at junior levels. What makes SOC analyst roles beginner friendly is that you're not expected to be master hacker on day one. You're expected to have a good fundamental understanding and a key eye, but you'll follow playbooks and get on-the-job training. Many organizations have a tiered SOC. So tier 1 analysts handle initial alert triage. That's you as a newbie. Tier 2 handle complex investigations or incidents, and tier 3 do proactive threat hunting and deep forensics. No one starts at tier 3. You start at tier 1 and you learn as you go. It's a role where you'll see everything from malware to phishing to insider threats, giving you a broad exposure early in your career. Aside from SOC analyst, other entry-level cybersecurity roles include IT support, help desk with security focus. Not a security role per se, but many cybersecurity pros start in IT support. It builds solid foundational skills, troubleshooting, user management, basic network and OS knowledge that translate well into security. From there, you can pivot into a dedicated security role internally. For example, junior penetration tester. Some people aim for offensive roles, which is ethical hacking right away. Junior pen tester jobs exist, though they often expect you to have proven skills via projects or certifications like OSCP. It's less common as a first job than SOC analyst. But if you love hacking challenges and build a great portfolio, it might be possible. Many, however, do a stint in a SOC or IT first, and then move into pen testing. Security analyst in GRC, which is governance, risk and compliance. So if you have a more business or compliance background, there are entry-level roles focusing on security policies, audits, and compliance. For example, junior risk analyst, compliance analyst. These are less technical roles, more about frameworks and paperwork, but can be entry points for non-IT folks. You might, for instance, help ensure company meets standards like ISO 27001, or handle security awareness training programs. Incident response forensic analysts, entry level. So some companies hire into IR teams or digital forensics at a junior level. These roles, like junior SOC, will involve learning procedures for investigating breaches or analyzing malware under mentorship. Security operations specialists. So that's sort of a catch-all title in smaller companies where you might wear many hats. Part SOC analyst, part system admin, part incident responder. Great learning if you can find one, since you do a bit of everything. But no matter the title, the common thread is that entry-level cyber roles expect you to have a strong foundational knowledge of IT and security basics, a hunger to learn, and often some proof of your efforts, like certification or lab experience. But they do not expect you to know everything. You're there to learn and grow. So as we discussed, SOC Analyst is arguably the most accessible because so many organizations and managed security service providers who handle SOC duties for clients are hiring Tier 1 analysts continually. It's a role you can prepare for in a targeted way, which is exactly what we'll map out next. It's important quick reality check, guys, though. Entry-level roles can be still very competitive. You might see job postings asking for 1-2 years of experience for a junior security analyst. Don't let that discourage you. Often this includes lab work, internships, or even IT experience, not necessarily professional security job experience. There's a well-known shortage of skilled cyber pros, so many employers are willing to consider candidates without full experience if they show potential. It's absolutely doable to break in without prior IT jobs. If you have the right skills and attitude, remember, every expert was once a beginner. Okay, next, let's unpack the role of junior SOC analyst and what to expect. Since the SOC analyst path is so crucial, let's shine a spotlight on it. What is life like a junior SOC analyst? It's one part routine and one part adrenaline. On a typical day or night, many SOCs run 24/7 shifts. You'll be keeping an eye on the 𝐶IEM. A 𝐶IEM is the major platform that aggregates logs and alerts from across the company systems. Popular ones include Splunk, IBM QRadar, Microsoft Sentinel, and other open source options. As a Tier 1 analyst, you live in this tool. You have a queue or dashboard of alerts generated by automated rules. For example, malware detected on a workstation, or multiple failed logins detected for an admin account. You continually monitor and take items from the queue to investigate. Now, investigating alerts. For each alert, you follow a playbook or a process. So you get an alert, for example, possible malicious file quarantined on a PC 123. You might remote into that machine or pull logs from it. Verify if the file is truly malicious, hash it, and look up on platforms like VirusTotal, perhaps. Check what file might have done. See if any other machines show signs of the same file, and etc. You're like a detective gathering clues. If it's a false positive, for example, an internal tool that the antivirus misidentified, you close it out. If it's real, you escalate it or take action. Using security tools. A SOC normally uses many tools. Aside from 𝐶IEM, you might use an EDR, which is endpoint detection and response tool on endpoints like CrowdStrike or Microsoft Defender to isolate machines or view detailed telemetry. Use network monitoring tools or packet analyzers like Wireshark to inspect network traffic. You might consult an EDS, which is an intrusion detection system like Snort, Suricata, or network threat alerts. Mastering every tool at once is impossible, but over time you get comfortable with the tool set. Important tip, it's wise to familiarize yourself with some common ones in advance. So Wireshark for traffic analysis, Nmap for scanning, 𝐼𝐶 for IDS, and of course, SIEM platforms like Splunk. Handling low-level incidents. Many incidents are routine. For example, a user clicks a phishing email, you might have to help reset their password or scan their machine. Or you see a virus was auto-quarantine. You double check. It's removed and maybe block the sender's email or malicious URL in the proxy. These are tasks you'll perform and log within an incident management system. Escalating high-level incidents. If something big happens, say you find evidence of an active intrusion, as a junior, your job is to gather info and raise the alarm for the senior folks, Tier 2 or Tier 3 incident response team. Don't worry, you won't be expected to single-handedly save the company from a nation-state hacker on day one. You'll contribute to the team effort. Continuous learning on the job. Every alert is a learning opportunity. You'll start recognizing patterns, for example, how to quickly spot a false positive versus a real attack. Good organizations rotate junior analysts through different tasks to build their skills. You might spend some time doing threat hunting, proactively looking through the logs for signs of hidden threats under guidance, or assist in vulnerability management, checking systems for known security patches needed, or help update documentation. The best employers invest in training for the junior analysts, sending them to courses or providing lab time, because it makes them stronger. One thing to be prepared though is alert fatigue. This is real SOC work. Enterprise SOCs can get thousands of alerts per day, and realistically, analysts can't investigate them all. There's a lot of noise and many false positives. This is an industry challenge, leading to the adoption of smarter tooling, even AI assist, to cut down the noise. As a junior analyst, you might sometimes feel overwhelmed by the volume. Take it in stride and remember, you're not expected to catch everything alone. Over time, you get faster and more discerning. Also know that burnout is recognized. Good SOC managers rotate tasks and encourage breaks to keep the team fresh. If you thrive on solving puzzles, you can manage a bit of pressure, you'll find even the busy days rewarding. There's a thrill in catching an attacker or resolving an incident. Lastly, note that some SOC analyst positions involve shift work. Security is 24/7, so you might start on a night shift or a rotating schedule. Some SOCs do 8-hour shifts, others do 12-hour rotations. Not all. Some companies only run SOC during business hours and have an on-call off hours, but many larger organizations or security companies will have around-the-clock coverage. This is something to consider. The upside is shifts can sometimes mean flexibility, 4 days on, 3 days off. The downside, yes, you might have to sacrifice some sleep or weekends early in your career. It's a bit of a paying dues. Many people do a year or two of shift-based SOC work, then move to a day schedule as they advance. Just know, it's a possibility. I want you to have the real talk, mentor to mentee. Now, bottom line is, a junior SOC analyst is an excellent springboard. You learn core cybersecurity operations, get hands-on with many tools, and build a strong foundation for whichever cyber career path you choose next. Many folks, after 1-2 years in a SOC, move into specialized roles, incident responder, threat hunter, malware analyst, and etc. Or up to the chain, Tier 2, Tier 3 analyst, then SOC team lead, or even manager. We'll talk more about those growth paths soon, but first, let's map out how you can prepare yourself to land that first job. So, let's discuss your roadmap to a cybersecurity career. So, you're convinced cybersecurity sounds exciting and you're ready to dive in. Now comes the big question. How do you go from zero to hireable? The answer is step by step. So let's break it down into a clear roadmap. Remember, this isn't an overnight journey, but with consistent effort, you can progress faster than you might think. Here's the roadmap we'll walk through. Number one, build a strong IT foundation. So, start with the basics. Cybersecurity is built on solid understanding of how computers, networks, and operating systems work. If you're new to tech, invest time in learning networking fundamentals, things like IP addresses, ports, how data moves across the internet, TCP/IP, what routers and switches do, and etc. Networking is the backbone of cybersecurity. As one guide said, an entry-level analyst should be comfortable with network traffic analysis and tools. Learn the OCI model. Know your protocols, HTTP, DNS, TCP, UDP, and etc. And get familiar with concepts like VPNs and firewalls, while simultaneously get comfortable with operating systems, both Windows and Linux. Yes, Windows is everywhere in corporate environments. Active Directory is core technology to understand for many security roles, and Linux is ubiquitous in servers and security tools. Practice basic Linux commands and understand file systems and permissions. Learn how processes run, how memory and storage work, what logs are and where to find them. For example, Windows Event Viewer. If this sounds overwhelming, don't worry. You can learn each piece by piece, one by one. There are free resources galore for networking. You can learn courses like Cisco's Networking Academy or even CompTIA's Network Plus study guides. For Linux, try free tutorials for beginner's Linux admin course. The key is to reach a point where terms like subnet mask or DNS request or kernel are familiar. This foundational knowledge will make every security concept easier to grasp. Understand cybersecurity fundamentals. That's number two. While building your IT foundation, start weaving in security concepts. What are the common threats out there? Viruses, ransomware, phishing, DDoS attacks. How do they work generally? And what impact do they have? Learn basic security principles like CIA triad, which is confidentiality, integrity, and availability, which is the basis of thinking about risk. Understand what authentication and authorization mean, what encryption is. You don't need to do the math of the encryption at first. Just know why it's used. And concepts like security software development, social engineering, and physical security. You might consider a structured software, a structured introduction, like a free cybersecurity fundamental courses on platforms like IBM or Coursera. They offer good intro courses for you guys. Even YouTube channels can be great. Some creators break down concepts for beginners in very friendly ways. When you come across jargon like SQL injection or XSS or zero-day exploit, take a moment to look it up. Over time, your security vocabulary will grow. The goal is to be conversant in that language of cybersecurity so that when you later specialize, you have context. You also want to grasp high-level defensive concepts, like what is an intrusion detection system? What does firewall actually do? What is incident response? At this stage, you don't need deep expertise, just a broad lay of the land. Number three is get hands-on experience. Labs and projects. Now, for the fun part, hands-on practice. Cybersecurity is very much a learn by doing field. Reading a theory only gets you so far. You need to play with the tools and try to solve some problems. Don't wait until you know everything. Get hands-on. Start early, even as you're learning fundamentals. Set up a home lab or use online cyber ranges to practice skills in a safe environment. This can be very simple. For example, install VirtualBox, which is a free virtualization software on your computer, and spin up a couple of virtual machines. One could be a Linux VM, like Ubuntu or Kali Linux, and another one could be a Windows virtual machine. With two VMs, you can practice things like networking, pinging between them, basic attacks like run a scan with nmap from one to another, and see security tools in action. Capture network traffic with Wireshark, try out Linux commands. A home lab is an affordable way to learn and can be adapted to whatever you're studying, basically. So you can also incorporate free popular security tools. For instance, try setting up Security Onion, which is a free SIEM monitoring platform to ingest logs from your VMs, or use pfSense as a firewall in your lab network. Each thing you will try teach you something. If building a lab from scratch feels overwhelming, leverage many fantastic cyber training platforms available. Many have even free options. Websites like TryHackMe and Hack the Box let you practice hacking and defending in virtual scenarios. They provide vulnerable systems for you to exploit or investigate with guided challenges. TryHackMe, in particular, has a beginner-friendly learning paths, including a pre-security path for an absolutely beginner and a SOC Level 1 path specifically for aspiring analysts. These platforms gamify learning, which keeps it engaging. On the defensive side, check out Blue Team Labs Online, which is a platform with simulated blue team scenarios where you perform investigations and solve incidents, challenges in a gamified environment. Another one is Let's Defend, which provides a virtual SOC environment for practicing handling alerts and incidents. These platforms often map their training to real-world job skills and frameworks like MITRE ATT&CK framework for attack techniques. The key is, though, to actually do things. Configure a firewall rule, examine a packet capture, investigate a fake phishing email. It's one thing to read about cross-site scripting attacks. It's another to try one out on a dummy website in a lab. Hands-on practice cements your knowledge and builds true confidence. Plus, it's fun. You get that rush when you solve a real challenge or crack a problem on your own. And here's a pro tip. Keep a journal or a blog for your hands-on projects. When you solve a TryHackMe ROM, set up a lab exercise. Write down what you did and what you learned. Not only does it reinforce your learning, but you'll thank yourself later when you need to recall those steps. And it can become a part of a portfolio to show to future employers. More on that later though. Now, number 4, develop core skills and specialize a bit. As you progress, aim to build a certain core skill areas that align with entry roles we discussed. So, for a SOC analyst, some vital skills include log analysis and SIEM. So, get familiar with reading logs, system logs, Windows event logs, web server logs, etc. Understand what's normal versus what is suspicious in the logs. If you can, play with the SIEM interface. Splunk has a free trial and a free sandbox training environment. Elasticstack, ELK, is an open source if you like a challenge setting it up. Knowing how to query logs and find relevant information is gold for an analyst. Many entry SOC analysts say Splunk experience really helped them. Even just the basics of running searches. Okay, number 6 is networking and traffic analysis. Deepen your network knowledge by using tools like Wireshark to inspect packets, to try recognize common traffic. What does HTTP request look like? What does a DNS query or ICMP ping look like on the wire? This helps you understand alerts at a lower level. Also, learn how to use network scanners like Nmap effectively to enumerate open ports and services, which is what attackers do, and defenders can replicate to find weaknesses. Understanding network architecture, like what is DMZ, what segments exist in a secure network, is very useful. Number 7, operating system internals, especially Windows security basics. Know about Windows user accounts, groups, permissions, event viewer, registry, common directories, for example, Windows /system32, and etc. how Windows domains and Active Directory function at a high level, authentication via Kerberos, domain controllers, etc. Many attacks involve Windows environments. So compromises domain admin account, it's a nightmare scenario. Also, continue improving via Linux. Practice shell scripting, managing services, understanding logs in var/log, using tools like grep to search through text. Since many security tools run on Linux, comfort there really helps, guys. Number 8, security tools and techniques. Get some exposure to key categories of tools. Vulnerability scanners like OpenVAS or Nessus. You can try OpenVAS for free. Scan your VMs to see what it finds. IDS and IPS, for example, SNOR or Suricata rules. You might not master writing rules, but know what these tools alert on is very important. Endpoint protection. So try Windows Defender if you can, or at least understand how antivirus and EDR systems detect malware via signatures or behavior. If possible, simulate simple attacks in your lab. See if your tools pick it up. For instance, run a known malware sample in your controlled VM very carefully, or use tools like Kali Linux to generate benign attacks. Kali has tools for this. Then check the logs on your Defender side. Scripting and coding basics is number 9. You do not need to be a software engineer or expert coder to start in cybersecurity, but a little scripting gives you an edge. I recommend learning Python basics, as it's widely used in security for automation and quick utilities. Even writing a simple Python script to parse a log file or automate repetitive tasks is very valuable. Also, knowing Bash if you're in Linux, maybe PowerShell for Windows can help too. Many exploits and admin tasks involve scripts. Again, start small, automate something in your lab. Maybe write a script to scan your system processes for a known bad process name, or a script that fetches the latest threat from an open threat intel feed. It will reinforce programming logic. You might even create something portfolio worthy. When employers see you can script, they know you can potentially automate boring tasks, which SOC has many, which is always a plus. Now, number 10, threat knowledge and mindset. This is more abstract, but start thinking both like an attacker and a defender. When you learn about a new attack technique, ask yourself, how would I detect or prevent this? For example, you learn about brute force password attacks. Detection might be done by spotting many login failures in a short time from one source. This mindset of attacker defender helps you become a creative analyst. A great resource to systematically learn attack techniques is my Attack framework, an encyclopedia of tactics and techniques attackers use, like phishing, moving laterally in a network, and etc. There are platforms like Blue Team Labs and others that actually organize labs around attack techniques, which is very cool for learning the context. Now, number 11 is soft skills. Yes, I'm listing this more as core skills because they are crucial from the start. Work on clear communication. Can you explain tech concept simply? Can you write an email or report without errors and with clarity? As a junior, you'll mostly be communicating with your team, but showing good communication can set you apart. So many purely technical folks struggle here. Problem solving and troubleshooting is another. Cultivate a habit of not giving up easily when faced with a puzzle. Instead, break it down. Google for answers. Google fu is a legit skill. And ask smart questions when needed. And of course, continuous learning. Demonstrate that you are keeping up. Mention news of a latest breach you read about when in interviews. Show your enthusiasm. Employees love a self-driven learner. Now, 12. Earn relevant certifications, but I highlight the key word here, smartly. Let's talk about certifications. So you might be wondering, do I need certificates to get hired? The honest answer is, they're not strictly mandatory, but they can significantly help early in your career. Certifications serve a purpose for a self-taught learner. They give you a structured learning path, validate your knowledge with a respected credential, and can make your resume more eye-catching in a pile. The one certification almost universally recommended for beginners is CompTIA Security Plus. It's a globally recognized entry-level cert that covers a broad range of security fundamentals: network security, threats and attacks, cryptography basics, risk management, etc. Security Plus is often considered a baseline for junior security roles. Many job listings list Security Plus as a plus or as a requirement, especially for government or DoD related jobs where Security Plus is actually required for certain positions. The good news is though, Security Plus is quite attainable with study. Even if you're new, it doesn't assume prior job experience, just knowledge. There are plenty of study materials, books, video courses, practice exams. Aim for Security Plus as a strong first certification. It will force you to learn basics, and you might have missed or solidify your terminology and theory. Beyond Security Plus, there are other certs you can consider down the road. For example, CompTIA Network Plus or CompTIA A Plus if you truly are starting out from zero IT knowledge. Network Plus for networking fundamentals and A Plus for PC hardware, software basics are lower level certs that build up to that Security Plus. They're not required, but if you feel you need that structured approach to basics, they can be useful. Some people skim them and go straight to the Security Plus while learning those basics on the fly. Decide based on your comfort level. CompTIA CYSA Plus, which is a cybersecurity analyst certificate. This is CompTIA's more advanced analyst cert, actually a step above Security Plus. It's somewhat aligned to the SOC analyst role, topics like threat detection, incident response, analyzing logs. So if you plan to go directly into the SOC, CYSA Plus could be beneficial after Security Plus, or in place of it if you already have another cert or knowledge. However, many entry-level jobs won't require CYSA Plus. It's more of a differentiator. Certified SOC Analyst offered by EC Council, this is, as the name suggests, specific to SOC skills. It's not as well known as CompTIA certs, but it's an option if you want to showcase SOC-focused knowledge. Make sure to research if employers in your target region recognize it. Next one, Certified Ethical Hacker, or otherwise known as CEH. This is a famous cert for learning hacking techniques. CEH covers offensive security basics. It's somewhat controversial. Some professionals feel it's outdated or too theoretical, but it is well known and can help in interviews, especially in some regions. If you lean towards penetration testing eventually, CH could be a good starter, though many prefer to go for OSCP when they are ready. As a beginner, CH can be expensive and not necessarily teach you hands-on skills. So weigh it up carefully. Now, other options are, if you're more policy GRC focused certs like SSCP, which is a System Security Certified Practitioner, or CompTIA Security Plus might suffice. Later, CISM or CISA, management and audit orientated, could be in your path. If you like cloud, consider entry-level cloud certs like AWS Certified Cloud Practitioner, or security-specific ones like CCSP later. But don't get lost in an alphabet soup. Start with one, max 2 core certificates for now, like Security Plus, and maybe one more. One thing to remember though, certification should supplement real skills, not replace them. Don't fall into the trap of cert chasing just to collect the badges. It's tempting because passing an exam feels like progress. And it is, guys. But what truly matters is being able to apply that knowledge. Use certifications as a roadmap for learning and a confidence booster / HR filter. For instance, studying for Security Plus will ensure you cover important topics systematically. Treat that as your curriculum. Once you pass, congrats, but then focus back on hands-on labs and projects to implement what you learned. Employers often regard certs as evidence you're serious, and indeed having the right cert can get your resume past filters. Just keep in mind that you'll still need to demonstrate practical ability in interviews. Quality over quantity. A couple of well-chosen certs plus solid projects trumps a long list of certs with no experience. And if you're wondering, are certs really necessary if I can do the job? Consider that as a newcomer, a cert like Security Plus can open up more job opportunities and increase your earning potential. It's even required for some roles. Although it's not mandatory, it's a foot in the door. Many people have been hired without certs by showcasing skills. But why not give yourself every advantage? Now, let's look at some other important aspects of your path. First of all, cultivate the right mindset and soft skills. You might be laser focused on technical skills, but let's pause and talk about mindset. In cybersecurity and IT in general, your attitude and your approach to problem solving are huge factors in success. Cultivate a growth mindset, the belief that you can learn anything with effort. You're inevitably going to hit roadblocks. A tough concept, a lab you can't solve, a failed exam perhaps. Rather than thinking, I'm not cut out for this, view it as I haven't mastered this yet. Persistence is key. As a self-taught learner, you are essentially teaching yourself to become an expert problem solver. Some soft skills and mindsets to nurture. Curiosity. The best cybersecurity folks are curious by nature. When you encounter something you don't know, you feel compelled to dig in and understand it. Cultivate that curiosity. Click view source on that odd-looking email. Google the name of that weird malware you heard about and ask how does it work often. Curiosity will drive you to learn continuously, which is crucial in a field that changes daily. Problem solving and analytical thinking. As a cyber practitioner, you're essentially a digital detective. Hone your ability to analyze data and think logically. A fun way to do this is through puzzles or CTF, which is capture the flag challenges. Many beginners say that doing CTFs not only taught them skills, but also how to systematically approach problems. When faced with an alert or security incident, you need to break down the possible causes, investigate methodology, and deduce what happened. You can practice this even daily in your life. Next time your computer acts up, troubleshoot it like an IT pro would. Next, communication. We touched on this a bit, but it's worth repeating. Being able to explain technical issues in simple terms is a superpower. In a junior role, you might mostly talk to your team, but you may still need to explain an issue to a non-technical manager or write a report that anyone could read. Practice writing summaries of what you learn. Today, I studied cross-site scripting. In simple terms, it's like, and then continue. Or explaining an IT concept to a family member without a jargon. It also helps in interviews. Clear, structured communication can set you apart from other techies who ramble in the technobabble. Teamworking and networking. So, realize that cybersecurity is a team sport. Yes, you'll be working on your own tasks, but you also collaborate with IT, with other analysts, with engineers, and etc. Being someone who is easy to work with, reliable, positive, and not afraid to ask for help will accelerate your career. On the networking side, the people kind, not the IP kind, start building your network of contacts now. Join online communities for beginners. There are subreddits like Cybersecurity, NetSec students, Discord servers for InfoSec study groups, etc. Attend local meetups or workshops if available. Many cities have an OWASP chapter or a DEF CON groups chapter that welcome newbies. These connections can both teach you and potentially open doors to job opportunities. Also, willing to help other newcomers because we've all been there. Now, ethics and responsibility. On a mindset level, embrace ethical responsibility that comes with cybersecurity knowledge. You'll be learning how to break and secure systems. Always use that knowledge for good. Engage only in legal hacking, labs, CTFs, permission-based testing, and respect the codes of conduct. Employees need to trust that the security analysts are ethical, since you might have access to sensitive data or systems. Showing a strong ethical foundation, for example, by contributing to community projects, or just how you talk about hacking as protecting people, will make you more attractive candidate. Adaptability and resilience. Now, new threats, new tools, new tech, change is constant. Be ready to adapt. Don't get too stuck on one tool or one way of doing things. Tomorrow, there might be a better way. And be resilient. Cyber can be stressful during incidents. Keeping cool under pressure and bouncing back from setbacks, like an incident that went poorly, will make you stand out. It's okay to feel pressure. Just learn healthy ways to manage it. Team support, good documentation, and yes, coffee can help too. Now, a quick note on imposter syndrome. Almost everyone in cybersecurity feels this at some point in their career. That nagging feeling that others know so much, and I'm just faking it. Please know that it's normal. The field is so broad that no one knows everything. You might get a job and feel, oh no, why did they hire me? I still have so much to learn. Now that's okay. They hired you for your potential and foundation. When those feelings come, remember, you have earned your place and you will keep learning on the job. Even senior professionals often say that they feel like imposters sometimes. Don't let it stop you from pushing forward or applying for roles. Confidence, even if you have to fake it a bit, combined with willingness to learn, will carry you through. Let's look at other things that you guys can do to improve your chances of success. First of all, join communities and build your network. I mentioned this under mindset, but let's delve deeper because it's super important. You should intentionally build your professional network and immerse yourself into the cybersecurity community. Why? Because opportunities often arise from connections and because you'll learn a ton from others. Here's some practical steps, guys. Online communities. So create a profile, anonymous if you prefer, on platforms like Reddit, and join communities like Cybersecurity, AskNetSec, for asking security questions, Cybersecurity 101, etc. There, you can read about others' experiences, ask beginner questions, search first. Many common questions have been answered, and even see job postings. Similarly, consider joining cybersecurity Discord servers. For example, the official Try Hack Me Discord, or Discords run by cybersecurity YouTubers. Many have study groups. These communities often have channels for advice, CTFs, jobs hunting, etc. The benefit is you'll feel less alone and you can get quick help or motivation when you're stuck. Conferences and meetups. If possible, attend local cybersecurity meetup or a bigger conference. Big ones like DEF CON, Black Hat, or RSA might be out of reach early on due to the cost or travel. But look for local events, are more affordable ones like B-Sides conferences, are community-driven, cheaper events. Held in many cities worldwide, they are welcoming to newcomers and a great place to meet people. Also, many conferences in post-2020 era have virtual attendance options, sometimes even free to watch talks. There are even beginner-focused conferences like Grey Hat or Blue Team Con that might have virtual content. When you attend, don't be shy. I know easier said than done, but try to talk to fellow attendees or speakers. Prepare a self-introduction. Hi, I'm this and that, and I'm trying to break into cybersecurity. What did you think of the last talk? That's enough to spark a conversation. collect contacts if you can. LinkedIn is great for this. Number 4, LinkedIn networking. LinkedIn is surprisingly useful in cybersecurity job hunting. Create a LinkedIn profile if you haven't, make it professional, but show your passion. In the summary, say you're an aspiring cybersecurity analyst with a home lab and Security Plus, or whatever is in progress. Connect with people you meet at events, and even feel free to connect with professionals whose content you enjoy. Many security folks post on LinkedIn about threats, career tips, and etc. You can also follow company pages of major security employers like groups like 𝐼SE², CompTIA, and similar to stay up to date on news. LinkedIn can also be a place to find mentors. Occasionally, people post, "I'll mentor a newbie, comment if you are interested," or such. Even if not, by engaging thoughtfully, commenting on posts, sharing your own learning journey, you become visible. Recruiters do search LinkedIn for entry-level candidates with certain keywords, like Security Plus or SOC Analyst. I know people who got messages from recruiters this way. Now, 5, capture the flag challenges. So, participating in CTF competitions, even casually, is a great way to meet others. There are beginner-friendly CTFs like Pico CTF geared towards students, and many security clubs or sites host regular challenges. You can team up with others, which naturally expands your network. And if competitions aren't your thing, even writing or sharing a blog post or a Medium article about something you learn can attract like-minded folks. For example, maybe you write a guide setting up a basic SOC home lab on Medium. Other beginners or even pros might comment, and boom, you got new connections. Number 6, ask for advice. Don't hesitate to politely reach out to professionals for advice. Many are happy to answer a few questions or point you to the resources. If you approach respectfully, understand they might be busy, so a short message like, "Hi, X, I'm a newcomer learning cybersecurity and aiming for a SOC analyst role. I saw you work at company X as a SOC analyst. If you have a moment, I'd love to know what one piece of advice you'd give someone in my shoes. Thanks." Not everyone will reply, but some will. And those connections can become mentors or leads. I stress, do not cold ask for a job. Ask for advice or insights. Build a relationship first. Give back. Even as a newbie, you might think you have nothing to offer, but you do. Your enthusiasm, your unique perspective. As you learn, share your knowledge with other beginners. Maybe you answer someone's question on a forum that you happened to just figure out yesterday. Maybe you volunteer at a local STEM event to talk about cybersecurity basics to high schoolers. Teaching something small or contributing to discussions will not only reinforce your knowledge, it shows you are an active, passionate member of the community. That reputation can become invaluable. People remember the motivated learner who always there helping others. And guess who might they think of when junior position opens up? Number 8, create a portfolio of projects and showcase your skills. When you're self-taught, you won't have an official transcript or employer endorsements to prove your skills. But that's okay. You can prove it by showing. I highly recommend building a small portfolio to showcase what you've learned. This isn't common in every field, but in cybersecurity, especially for technical roles, it can really set you apart. So here are some ideas, guys. Home lab documentation. If you build a home lab, document it. For example, write a blog post or a PDF report about my home cybersecurity lab, where you describe the network you set up, the VMs and tools you used, and maybe a couple of attacks and detections you practiced. Include screenshots. Everyone loves a good Wireshark screenshot or a diagram of your lab network. This shows initiative and practical skill. Write-ups of challenges and CTFs. If you saw a challenge on TryHackMe, Hack the Box, or from a CTF, do a write-up, as long as it's allowed to be shared. Most older retire hack-the-box machines or open CTFs, yes. Active ones, no. This demonstrates your problem-solving skills. It doesn't have to be super advanced. Even a step-by-step of how you analyze the simple malware file in Sandbox, for instance, is great. Put these write-ups on your personal blog or on your LinkedIn articles. Recruiters and hiring managers do read these if provided. I've seen interviews where they discussed a blog post the candidate wrote. Next is GitHub projects. If you have any skill in scripting or coding, put a project on GitHub. It could be as small as a Python script to automate something, or a collection of Sigma rules you wrote. Sigma is a language for writing seam detection rules. Just an idea if you delve into the detection engineering. Or maybe a custom Splunk dashboard or query you made. Even a repository that contains your notes or cheat sheets can show organization a dedication. When you apply, you can link to your GitHub to say, check out some of the tools I've built. That's relatively rare at the junior level and will catch hiring managers' eyes. Community involvement. Now, if you contribute to an open source security tool or volunteered in a security project, highlight that. For instance, contributing threat intelligence data to an open project or helping moderate a cybersecurity forum, those count. Certification and badges. While not exactly projects, visual representations of your achievements help. For example, if you complete labs on TryHackMe, you earn badges, like a complete beginner path badge. You can list those on your resume or on LinkedIn. The same with Hack the Box rank. If you say you reach Hack the Box hacker level X or any CTF wins, it shows you put in the work. Also list your certs clearly and maybe any coursework you completed. For example, completed IBM Cybersecurity Analyst certificate on Coursera or completed 100 hours of lab training on Rangeforce platform. Resume, CV, and online profiles. Now that you have tangible things, incorporate them. Update resume to include projects. Section where you mention your lab or your blog. For example, built a home lab with VirtualBox, simulating a small corporate network with Windows and Linux machines, and deployed Splunk and Snort to practice threat monitoring. One line like this tells a lot. In your cover letters or introductory emails, you can mention these projects. As a self-taught candidate, I have demonstrated my skills by setting up a functional SOC home lab and completing over 50 challenges on TryHackMe, where I learned practical skills in threat detection. Also, ensure your LinkedIn has these projects, and maybe upload some of your write-ups as media or posts. The idea is, whenever someone glances at your profile, they immediately see evidence of your hands-on experience and passion. Having a portfolio also gives you confidence in interviews. You have concrete experiences to talk about. If an interviewer asks, have you worked with Windows security logs? You can say, yes, in my lab, I pulled Windows event logs into Splunk and analyzed them. Plus, during TryHackMe's SOC Level 1 pathway, I worked with Windows logs in several challenges. That's a strong answer for a newbie. Okay, let's look at the next steps. Number 1, apply for jobs and ace the interview. So once your skills and materials are coming together, start looking for job postings for entry-level cybersecurity roles. Even if you don't feel 100% ready, it's okay. The application process itself is a learning experience. Look for titles like SOC Analyst, Security Analyst, Information Security Specialist, IT Security Coordinator, anything that sounds junior. Don't be scared off by postings that list a ton of requirements. Some are boilerplate wish lists. If you meet at least, say, 50-60% of the requirements, consider applying. Your cert, Security Plus perhaps, and say any IT or lab experience can count for the 1-year experience some ask for. Also, consider related roles to get into the door. For example, junior network administrator, at a company with promise to transition into security, or IT auditor trainee if you have an interest in compliance. As you apply, tailor your resume to highlight relevant skills, emphasize your lab project, certifications, and skills. Like, experience with network traffic analysis using Wireshark, or familiar with Windows and Linux security fundamentals, etc. Use keywords from job description. If they mention Splunk and you use Splunk even in a home lab setting, put Splunk on your resume. Leverage your network. If you made connections, don't hesitate to politely ask for referrals or insights about the companies. A friend from a meetup might know that the company is open to hiring newbies and could refer you internally, which often bypasses some initial HR screening. Prepare for interviews. Common entry-level interview topics include scenario questions. So, what steps would you take if you suspect a PC to be infected with malware? That's a fundamental knowledge. What is SQL injection? Or explain the difference between symmetric and asymmetric encryption in simple terms. And question about your project. Tell me about your home lab. What did you find most challenging? Be ready to talk about anything you listed on your resume. Interviewers love asking about projects since it's unique to you. Also, prepare a bit of behavioral questions. For example, describe a time you solved a difficult technical problem. You can use a lab challenge as an example here. So, since you might not have prior job experience, use examples from self-study journey to show things like persistence, quick learning, teamwork, maybe from a group study or community project, etc. Show enthusiasm. This cannot be overstated. Many hiring managers for junior roles care more about your passion and attitude than your exact technical skill checklist. Skills can be taught, attitude usually not. So in your interviews, don't be afraid to express your excitement for the field. Talk about recent cybersecurity news or an experiment you did in your lab with genuine interest. If your eyes light up when discussing how you traced a fake malware infection in a lab, that leaves an impression. Employers know a self-motivated learner is likely to evolve in a great analyst. Be honest about what you don't know. If asked something you really have no clue about, it's okay to say, I haven't encountered that yet, but I'm eager to learn it. Then maybe add how you would go about finding out the answer, showing your problem-solving approach. Being coachable and honest is better than trying to bluff. Follow up. After an interview, a thank you email goes a long way. Also, if you get rejected or don't hear back, don't be discouraged. It's common to apply to quite a few jobs before one clicks. Each interview, even rejection, can be used to improve yourself. Maybe they mentioned you lacked X skill, so go practice that X. Consider also internships, apprenticeships, or trainee programs in cybersecurity. Some companies have specific programs for career changes or new grads that you can tap into, even if you're not a student. Look for terms like cybersecurity apprenticeship or SOC internship. These might pay less initially, but can rapidly lead to a full-time role. Government or military civilian roles, if you're open to that route, sometimes have pathways for training new security analysts too. And one more thing. Don't give up. The entry-level catch-22, need experience to get a job, need job to get experience, is frustrating. But by following these steps above, you are getting experience just in an unconventional way. It counts, and the right employer would recognize that. Persistence is often the differentiator. Keep learning, keep applying, and eventually an opportunity will come. Cybersecurity community is in need of fresh talent, and many of us truly want to see you succeed. Now, what does career growth from SOC analyst to look like? So let's fast forward a bit. Suppose you land that junior cybersecurity job. Yay! But what might future hold? It's good to have a vision for your own motivation. Starting as a Tier 1 SOC analyst, you can grow vertically to Tier 2, Tier 3, SOC lead or manager over time. Or horizontally, branch into different specializations. Here are some paths people take after getting their first experience as a SOC analyst or incident responder. As you can experience handling alerts, you naturally become faster and more knowledgeable. You might move into a Tier 2 analyst role, dealing with more complex incidents, mentoring newer analysts, and leading incident response efforts. After that, you could become a Tier 3 analyst or threat hunter, proactively hunting for hidden threats in systems, looking for things the alerts didn't catch. Threat hunters use advanced tools, custom queries, threat intel feeds, and etc. to find needles in a haystacks. It's a bit like being a detective with more freedom to explore. Now, SOC team lead or SOC manager, with enough experience and perhaps leadership inclination, you can become a SOC supervisor or a manager. In this role, you'd coordinate the team, set procedures, train newcomers, and interface with other departments to report on security posture. Management roles often require good people skills, strategic thinking. You might be planning improvements to the SOC, selecting new tools, or reporting metrics, like how quickly the team responds to incidents, to upper management. Some folks transition to this track after a few years. Others prefer to stay technical. Both are equally valid. Now, specializations include cybersecurity has many niches that you can dive into once you have a foundation. A few popular ones include digital forensics and incident response, otherwise known as DFIR. If you love to investigate the aspect, you might specialize in forensics. Think CSI but for computers. This means doing deep dives into compromised machines, memory analysis, disk imaging, finding out exactly how attacker broke in and what they did. Certifications like GCFA, which is GIC Certified Forensic Analyst, or experience in incident response cases pave this path. Next, malware analyst and reverse engineering. Ever wonder how a particular virus works internally? Malware analysts tear apart malicious software to understand it. It's a highly technical field involving low-level programming and sometimes reading assembly code. Usually not an entry-level role, but you can get into it by demonstrating strong programming and analysis skills. These folk work in incident response teams or for cybersecurity companies that research threats. Penetration testing and red teaming. Maybe after a couple of years of defending, you still have that itch to be the attacker, but legally. Many move from blue team to red team because understanding defense actually makes you a better attacker. As a penetration tester, you'd be simulating attacks on organizations to find vulnerabilities before real bad guys do. You might specialize in web app pen testing, network pen testing, or even social engineering. Certifications like OSCP, Offensive Security Certified Professional, are common in this path, but your on-the-job security experience will help immensely in achieving those. Threat intelligence analyst. Now, if you enjoy the research and the big picture side and maybe writing reports, threat intel could be the path for you. The TI analysts gather information about emerging threats from dark web, security feeds, and many similar things. And they advise their organizations on what threats are most relevant to them in a SOC. Sometimes a senior analyst doubles as a threat intel specialist, or larger companies have separate teams. This role can involve a mix of technical research and analytical writing. Now, security engineering and architecture. Perhaps you find you love the technology and tools themselves. Security engineers build and maintain security systems, like they might be experts in configuring a SIEM or architecting a secure network. If you have a knack for IT architecture and want to design secure systems rather than respond to incidents, this route might be just for you. It often requires understanding how to integrate security tools, do scripting, automation to support the SOC, and work on projects like implementing new monitoring solutions. Over time, one can become a security architect, designing overall security strategy and infrastructure of an enterprise. Now, governance, risk, and compliance. Some entry-level folks start here, but many transition into it later on. If you find you prefer policy, big picture risk management, or compliance frameworks, you could move into GRC analyst or consultant role. These roles deal with ensuring the organization meets security standards, managing risk assessments, and handling audits. They require less hands-on keyboard defending and more analysis of processes and documentation. It's a crucial area. Think of all the privacy laws and regulation companies must adhere to. Next, cloud security. As companies migrate to cloud, platforms like AWS, Azure, Google Cloud, there's a huge need for cloud security specialists. After initial general experience, you might focus on securing cloud infrastructure, learning cloud-specific security services, doing cloud incident response, etc. If during early journey in your career, you dabble in the cloud, like deploy a small app to AWS and secure it, you'll sell yourself up for this path. Next, DevSecOps or security automation. If you enjoy coding and want to bridge between development and security, DevSecOps is a growing field. It involves embedding security into the software development lifecycle and automating security tasks like automated code scanning, automated incident response playbooks using SOAR tools. Your scripting practice could come in handy here. The beauty of starting as SOC junior analyst is you get exposure to many of those areas. You'll interact with incident responders, engineers, maybe sit in risk meetings or see reports from threat intel. Over a couple of years, pay attention to what excites you the most. Follow that curiosity to pick your next step. And guess what? You can always pivot. Many careers are not linear. You might try pen testing and then decide you missed the defense, or go into management and later go back to technical. It's all possible. The foundational skills you develop now and in your first job will serve you whichever route you go. Now, before we end, let's demystify some of the common fears and some of the doubts you might have early in your career. So, when people embark on this journey, it's absolutely normal to have doubts, but don't let myths or unfounded fears hold you back. First one, I don't have a degree in computer science. Can I really get a cybersecurity job? Yes, you absolutely can. As we discussed earlier, not having a degree is no longer a deal breaker in this industry. Many cybersecurity pros are self-taught or come from unrelated degrees. Employers care that you have skills and dedication. By building your own knowledge base, getting certs, and showing projects, you can demonstrate you're just as qualified. One hiring manager I know said he often prefers candidates who come up via self-taught path, hands-on route, because they tend to be very practical problem solvers. So do not be deterred by not having a formal degree. Your passion and portfolio can speak louder. Am I too old to switch into cybersecurity? Cybersecurity needs people of all ages and backgrounds. There are folks who entered this field into their 30s, 40s, even 50s successfully. Your previous career experience, even if unrelated, can be an asset. Maybe you worked in finance. That domain knowledge can help you in fintech security context. Or you did retail. You understand user behavior, which can help you in security awareness. The technical skills can be learned at any age. It might feel weird to start at entry level again, but the advancement can be quick if you leverage your past experience and soft skills. Age diversity is actually beneficial in security teams for a broader perspective. So no, it's not too late. Do I need to be programming genius or math whiz? No, this isn't software engineering. Although there is an overlap, for most cybersecurity entry roles, You need only basic scripting ability and logical thinking. You don't need to write algorithms from scratch or do advanced calculus. In fact, many successful analysts have very limited coding background initially. They pick up what they need as they go. Maybe writing a Python script here, a PowerShell command there. Focus on problem solving and understanding how to use tools. If you enjoy coding, great. It will give you extra options like security automation roles, but it's not an entrance requirement. And math, aside from understanding binary, hex, and maybe some light statistics, if you get into data analysis, there's not much heavy math at all. It's far more important to understand processes and logic flows than to solve equations. Cybersecurity is so broad, I'm overwhelmed by how much I need to learn. It's true, cybersecurity is a huge field, but remember, you don't have to learn it all at once or ever. The key is to start with the fundamentals and then go where your interests or career goals lead you. Everyone feels that ocean of info is vast. The trick is to focus on one small section at a time. Think of it like this. You're building a tree of knowledge. Start with a trunk, basic IT and security fundamentals. Then grow a branch like SOC analysis skills. That branch will further split into twigs, specific tools, deeper concepts. Meanwhile, another branch might be policy knowledge or cloud, etc. But you don't need to grow all the branches simultaneously. Use structured paths like a certification syllabus or learning path on 𝐼 to guide you. So you're not just randomly trying to swallow the sea of info. And importantly, accept that you'll always be learning in this career. Nobody ever completes cybersecurity knowledge. Embrace that as part of excitement rather than seeing it as a burden. What if I fail a certification exam or struggle in a lab? Does it mean I'm not cut out for this? No, not at all. Failure is part of the learning process. Many people take an exam like Security Plus and fail on the first attempt. They study a bit more and pass on a second. It doesn't mean you can't do it. It just means you found your knowledge gap. Same goes with labs. Some hack-the-box machines make seasoned pros put all their hair out. If you get stuck, take a break. Read a hint or walk through after giving it your best. And treat it as a lesson, not a reflection of your worth. In fact, being able to learn from failure and not give up is one trait that does indicate you're cut out for cybersecurity. In real world, attacks will fail. Solutions won't work first try. We troubleshoot and iterate until we succeed. Will employers value my self-taught home lab and projects as much as actual work experience? They won't count exactly the same as professional experience, but they absolutely have value and can tip the scales in your favor. There's a reason we spend so much on labs and projects, because they are evidence of practical ability. Plenty of hiring managers acknowledge that a home lab or personal projects show initiative and real skills, especially if you can discuss them intelligently in an interview. It often impresses interviewers more than someone who just took the classes. One piece of feedback I've heard from a recruiter, we had two candidates, one with a master's degree in cybersecurity and one who had no degree, but talked about how he set up a whole lab at home to simulate attacks. We hired the lab guy. He clearly demonstrated passion and hands-on skills. So yes, your self-driven experience counts. You can even get creative. Maybe ask one of your mentors or community leader you worked with to be a reference. They could vouch for your skills and seeing you in action as a volunteer, project or such. The entry-level SOC jobs sound intense. Shifts, lots of alerts. What if I burn out or find it's not for me? It's good to be realistic. Entry-level SOC analysts can be a bit of a repetitive or stressful at times. Not every personality loves staring at logs in a dark room at 3 a.m. However, think of it as a stepping stone. If you find it's not your long-term cup of tea, you can still use the experience to move to another role that suits you better. We described many roles above. Some people realize they prefer policy work, or maybe they want to get into security training or sales engineering. That's fine. Your SOC experience will still have taught you how cyber attacks happen, which is invaluable context in any security career. Also, not all SOC environments are grim. Some are really well run, with supportive teams and reasonable hours. You might aim for organizations known for work-life balance. Maybe avoid the notorious MSSPs that make everyone do 12-hour night shifts indefinitely. And if you practice good self-care and time management, you can handle the tier 1 grind for a while. Burnout is something to watch out for, but the industry is increasingly aware of it and trying to improve conditions. If you feel overwhelmed, speak up to your team. They might rotate you to different tasks or provide support. And remember, you won't be tier 1 forever. It gets better with experience as you move up or on. What if I join a company and encounter a real attack? I'm scared I won't know what to do and I will mess it up. First, if you're in a SOC, you'll have processes and senior folks to guide you. You won't be left alone to handle a bank breach on your second week. Companies have incident response plans. As a junior, your role might simply be to notify the right people and then assist with data gathering. Second, the adrenaline of a real incident often sharpens your focus. You'd be surprised how training kicks in. And any good team does post incident reviews where mistakes are treated as learning opportunities, not blame games. So don't let fear of the real thing paralyze you. You'll rise to the occasion when it happens, and it will probably be the moment you go from feeling like a newbie to knowing you're capable professional. All right, take a breath. The fact that you have these doubts means you care, and caring is half the battle in becoming good at something. Use that to fuel your preparation rather than hinder you. You've got this. Now, we've covered a lot in this video. So if you're still here, kudos to you guys. It shows you're serious about this. Starting a self-taught path in cybersecurity in 2025 is not only possible, it might be one of the best decisions you make. The world needs skilled, passionate defenders, and there's a place for you amongst them. Let's quickly recap your action plan. So, first, solidify your fundamentals. Networks, operating systems, security basics. Consider getting that foundational cert like Security Plus to structure your learning. Number 2, dive into hands-on practice. Labs, challenges, try Hack Me, Hack the Box, BTLO, and maybe build a home lab to play in. Remember, nothing beats the real practice. Number 3, build your personal brand. Projects, blogs, certs, community presence. Show the world what you can do, even before you land a role. Number 4, apply and persist. Aim for SOC analyst or similar entry-level roles. Use your network and don't give up if it takes a few tries. Each attempt gets you closer. Number 5, keep learning and stay curious. This journey doesn't end when you get a job, guys. That's just the next chapter. The mindset of continual growth will carry you far in this career. As a final dose of motivation, every seasoned cybersecurity professional remembers what it was like to be a beginner. We all started knowing nothing much. That feeling when you first successfully hack a test target, or when you finally understand how an exploit works, or when you catch your first real attacker, it's incredibly rewarding. And you'll have those moments too, guys. Everyone starts somewhere. And in cybersecurity, people of very humble beginnings have risen to become experts and leaders. With determination and the right approach, you can absolutely become one of them, guys. Also, the community is generally awesome. You'll make friends and mentors along the way. It's a journey and not a race. So enjoy the process, guys. Celebrate small wins. Today you solved the lab that stumped you yesterday. Awesome. Tomorrow, you might help someone else solve theirs. Each step you take is building your future. 2025 is a fantastic time to break into cybersecurity. The field is full of opportunity and it needs fresh mind like yours. So take that first step, set up that lab, register for that course, join that community chat, and keep stepping. Someday, maybe sooner than you think, you look back and be given advice to newcomers on how you did it. Thank you for hanging out with me through this discussion, guys. I hope you feel inspired and clearer on how to tackle your cybersecurity career goals. Now go forth and hack ethically your way into a new cyber career. Remember, I believe in you guys, and the cybersecurity world is waiting to welcome you. Good luck, and stay curious and persistent on your journey becoming a cybersecurity professional. Stay safe out there, guys.